Hey, how's it going? In this video, I'm gonna talk to you about what are the best lighting modifiers to get if you're getting started in photography. I'm gonna break this down into two paths. So first we have portrait photography, then we have product photography. And there is some overlap here, but just know product photography requires a little bit of a different approach and some more finesse when it comes to the actual modifiers that you get. So let's go ahead and dive in. So for portrait photography, probably the most useful thing that you've heard about is gonna be a softbox, and that remains true for pretty much anything you're doing. I think a really good middle ground octabox is good. Definitely look into a 3-foot octabox. That's what I would do. A really good one, Westcott makes the 3-foot Octa M or medium size, and that comes with the diffusion you need. You can grab a grid with it if you'd like, but I would say you don't need a grid to start out with, and most of the time you save grids for smaller lights anyway. So I would start there. If you're in portraiture and you want to get really nice, beautiful light that's very versatile, can be used far away or close and still get really soft effects, I would look at a 3-foot medium octabox. Next, for portrait work, I would get any sort of bounce card. Now you can get really nice 5-in-1 reflectors, and you can kind of put those up and mount them on a light stand in your studio or whatnot. And this will act as a second light source almost, or a fill. And it really brightens the scene up, especially if you have a dark studio like I do. You could also use just a white wall. So if you paint your wall a neutral colored white, that can act as a really nice bounce as well, which is very common in most modern spaces anyway. So you have that option as well. But it's a really great and super affordable modifier to get. You can get those 5-in-1 reflectors for like 20, 30 bucks and even less in some cases. And Westcott makes a really nice one that has handles that you can grab and hold on to easily, especially if you're going outside. But that's a really great modifier to have and really powerful, even if you don't have an octabox to use outdoors to reflect sunlight back into your subject as well. Next, for portraiture, I recommend looking at a 1x4 strip box, or sometimes a 1x3 strip box. They also call them strip banks, but basically it's a softbox that's 1 foot wide by 4 foot or 3 foot tall. The taller you go, the more coverage you'll get down the side of a body, but those are really fantastic for a lot of things. They're extremely versatile, but traditionally they're used as like an edge light or a hair light or something like that. You can turn them lengthways to get different shadow qualities, or up and down to kind of get that coverage down the side. And they're extremely useful for a lot of things. I would say that that would be my second modifier that I get after the 3-foot octabox. That's just the way that I work, and I think it's really effective. And I would also look into getting grids for them, especially if you work in a small studio. It just helps keep the spill down, and if you want to go for that dark aesthetic, it'll really help you separate your edge light from the rest of your studio. Fourth, I would recommend getting grids for your hard reflector. A lot of lights come with a reflector like this, and you can get grids for them. They come in 10 degree, 20 degree, 30 degree, 40 degree. I really kind of suggest between probably 30 to 20 degrees. 30 is really standard. And what that does is it gives you a really great way to constrain the light spread coming out from the light. And it really helps, again, suppress any spill around the studio, but also create a really nice, hard, crisp light, and even gradient circles for like backgrounds and things like that. You'll see me use grids all the time. They're super effective, they're pretty affordable, and you can get them for pretty much any light or reflector that you have. Continuing on with portraiture, I would recommend you get some gels. Westcott makes some really nice flexi gels. I have the Vivid Flexi Pack. They're really fantastic, but you can also buy just gel kits. I use the Roscoe gel filters. I also use the Lee filters. They're also designed to be corrective for color. So if you're shooting on location with strobes, you can match your strobe light to your environment a little bit better for a more accurate white balance across your scene, things like that. So I would definitely recommend looking into gels, corrective gels, especially if you do a lot of on-location work, or if you want to get creative with your lights and make stuff that's a little more vibrant, things like that. Definitely recommend gels, especially for strobe work. Alternatively, if you're working with LEDs, you could get an RGB LED light, and that works just as well. So highly recommend that. And lastly, for portrait work, I would recommend looking into some kind of a beauty dish. Now, you can get really nice collapsible beauty dishes these days. You don't have to go with the hard one, and they give you a really great look. I recommend a silver for a more punchy, hard aesthetic, or for a softer, a little more calmer aesthetic, you can get one with a white interior. exterior. I personally use the Westcott Joel Grimes Beauty Dish because it creates a beautiful quality of light, and it's very compact and easy to take with you, and you can throw diffusion on there and a grid to make it act more like a 24-inch Octabox, which I really like. So that's where I would start with modifiers, and that's for the portrait side. Now with product side, there's a little bit of crossover. With products though, instead of Octaboxes, oftentimes you want to use softboxes, so traditional square or rectangular ones. And honestly, I would start with the 1x4 strip box that we already talked about for portrait work. It's extremely versatile. It's thin enough that you can get really beautiful control of like edge lights and things like that on products. And it's also able to be turned in ways to make it appear smaller or bigger to your subject, to feather it off in different directions. And it's just extremely versatile. You can actually do really beautiful beauty work with them as well. They're just amazing. So all around for product photography, the 1x4 strip box is incredible. Now, another one for product photography is just the standard hard reflector or bare bulb. Now, the reason I talk about this is because a lot of times when we're working with highly textured and detailed products, we want that really hard light to really show off the texture, the feeling, the knurling. I'm just looking at my camera here because it's got a lot of texture on it. But you can do so much with just the standard bulb as long as you understand where to place your light to get reflections where you want them or to keep them from bouncing off of where you don't want them. But yeah, just standard hard reflector is a very fantastic way to work. I do that as much as I can just because it's less bulk in the studio. The next modifier that I recommend for product photography is any sort of scrim or silk. Now you can buy them from various brands. Westcott makes the Scrim Gym, which is really fantastic. You can also buy just diffusion paper from Lee or from other companies. The great thing about getting studio specific equipment is that it's heat resistant and things like that. But with a scrim, you can create really beautiful gradient lighting or fall off light. And you can also kind of create your own softbox with it. So if you have a big scrim, you can shine a big hard reflector into it and make a faux big softbox as big as you want. So if you have the budget to go ahead and snag an actual scrim with a frame and things like that, they are really good. So find what works for you and go from there. And then lastly, as a product photographer, I recommend getting some sort of a mirrored surface. Now it's not exactly a light modifier, but what you can do with mirrors is you can use them to duplicate your light sources. So if you have a very complicated subject that needs a lot of different reflections in different places, you can buy acrylic or plexiglass mirrors, and then you can kind of chop them down to different sizes or use them in big or small. They're flexible, they're not going to shatter and hurt anybody. And those are really, really effective as a type of modifier for the studio. Now, of course, there are all sorts of different modifiers you can get, and there's different philosophies and different approaches. And so really you need to understand the different lighting principles, understand your style or look you're going for, and then go from there. You can rent a lot of these modifiers. I know Westcott softboxes are available for rent on lensrentals.com. It's a great way to get your hands on something without buying it first to see if you like it. And then also there are things like projection attachments you can get that I'm using for the background here. You can get gobos or go-betweens, which are just basically cardboard cutouts with different shapes. You can cast light in different ways. You can get V-flats. Again, bounce fill is very underrated and things like that. There are countless types of ways to control light in the studio. There are tons of techniques you can use with even just a couple of modifiers to get the look of other more expensive modifiers as well. But just to rattle off a couple of different options for like advanced stuff that you could look into in the future, you could look into Fresnels, which are a really beautiful type of hard light that lets you focus the light in or out, and it's based off of the design of like a lighthouse, and those are really great for high fashion, kind of old school Hollywood portrait looks and stuff like that. You also have gobo projectors or projection attachments. Westcott has their optical spot, and what it is a lens in front of your light that focuses the light down, just like I have this on the background here, and you can create different shapes and stencils and all sorts of stuff through there, so you can actually project an image onto a background or what have you. A Fresnel is often paired with barn doors as well because it's a really great light source to kind of control the spill of light in your set. And then of course we have the big parabolic reflectors. I rent those on a case by case. Westcott made one in the past. I think they've discontinued it for now, so hopefully those will come back in the future. But yeah, that's just about the basics of lighting modifiers to consider as you get started. I would recommend that order that I put them in for the different types of genres that you have. Of course, if you have any questions or a specific lighting setup, you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to answer your questions to kind of give more advice for your specific needs. I also offer one-to-one coaching, so if you have dedicated lighting setups that you need help creating or looks that you're going for, or just want to ring me a call anytime, you can hit me up there at lumauniversity.com for some personal coaching. And if you're interested in any of the gear that I use, I have an entire list of it over at lumauniversity.com/gear. I'll leave the links below for all of this stuff so that you can look at it and kind of determine what it is you need and go from there. But yeah, that's about it. Hopefully that answers some questions for you, points in the right direction. Again, everyone's needs are a little bit different, so let me know if you need anything, and I will see you soon.